So we talk about recruiting consistently here on the channel. It's one of my favorite aspects of college football. And yes, as much as I love the games, the schematics, and the X's and O's, recruiting just gives us so much in terms of storylines on a year in and year out basis. And it's not only something that affects the recruits, it's not only something that affects the institution and the fans. Recruiting is something that permeates into the communities because as each and every one of these individuals gets the opportunity to realize their dream, people in that community realize there's greater opportunities for them as well. And it's something that's inspiring. And I find that to be an incredibly compelling issue. But today, I had the opportunity to be at an announcement that is sure to make waves in the college football media world this week, this month, and through the rest of this year because the U.S. Army Bowl is set to make its debut in Arlington, Texas in 2022, and this is something you need to know about. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are these All-American games something you look forward to? And let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content, and you don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first, let's start with the what. And the what is the U.S. Army Bowl. And for those of you wondering, what about the Army All-American game? Well, the All-American game will still be happening in San Antonio, but the U.S. Army Bowl is now going to be something separate as the U.S. Army is no longer in association with the All-American game. This is going to be something completely separate and something that I find to be really refreshing and a new take on this. And that's something I can't wait to break down. But the U.S. Army Bowl is going to be a new event occurring in Arlington, Texas in 2022. And what it is going to be a week-long event that's going to feature an All-American game, but it's going to feature so much more than that. We're talking 7-on-7 camps. We're talking flag football camps for these prospects to come in and learn from others. And there's going to be so much not only for the prospects, but for the fans that I think is going to make this really exciting. And on top of that, this is something that's going to be done a little bit different. We're so used to these All-American games having the commitments happen during the game, and though this is still going to be a game you have to see, just wait until we talk about the talent and attendance. The way they're going to do the recruitments and the commitments are going to be different. The game will happen on one day, but these prospects are going to get a dedicated day for their big decision. And I find that to be the best way to do this because it allows them to focus on the game, but then it gives them a whole day just dedicated to that big decision. And I think that's really, really cool. Two other things that I find really interesting about this is it's not put on in association with the UIL and the NCAA. And though that may not sound like a big deal, it is in terms of what they may be able to do. Because at this press conference, they were talking about things such as helmet cams, such as miking up players and coaches, and that would afford the viewer a totally new way to interact with this type of content, and I think that is so cool. Those are the type of things that really draw my attention, and those are the type of new ideas that I think are going to be really refreshing. But another area I really think is cool is that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be involved. And what top prospect isn't going to want to be involved with something that the Dallas Cowboys are involved in, especially a pro organization with the level of cachet the Cowboys carry? I'm not even involved, and I find that to be so cool. So whenever you look at the totality of circumstances, this new All-American game is something I think college football fans need to know about, and it's something you're going to be hearing more about not only on this channel, but from every major outlet coming very shortly. There is that much talent and attendance, and now let's talk about that talent and attendance, because if we're talking about the quarterbacks in the class of 2023, something we've talked about before and how there's a disproportionate amount of five-star talent this year, they have all the top guys, and I know fans are going to want to see this, because at the quarterback position alone, we're talking Jaden Rashada, we're talking Arch Manning, the #1 player in the nation and the #1 quarterback in the nation. We're talking Malachi Nelson, the #2 player in the nation and #2 quarterback in the nation out of California, a current commit to the USC Trojans. Someone that I know not only the USC faithful want to see, but the eyes of the college football world want to see him on this stage. Nico Iamaleava, a current commit to Tennessee, someone who has been turning heads consistently and who just walked away with MVP of OT7, will also be playing. Already, you're talking about 4 of the top players in high school football, regardless of position, all happening to play quarterback. You don't have to be a major college football fan to want to see these names duke it out, but it's not just relegated to the quarterbacks. This is an insanely talented event. Five-star defensive lineman out the state of Texas, DJ Hicks, is also set to be in attendance. Someone who's being courted by the likes of Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Someone who's going to be an impact player when they step onto the next level. He is that talented. And as excited as I am to see DJ Hicks, I'm more excited to see him go up against five-star offensive lineman Samson Okunlola out of Massachusetts, who's currently being pursued by the Alabama Crimson Tide. And not only will Okunlola have to fend off DJ Hicks, he'll have to fend off five-star edge rusher currently committed to Notre Dame, Keon Keeley. Another five-star in attendance that I personally am really excited about because I think he has one of the best films in the nation, regardless of position, is five-star Samuel Mpemba, who played at IMG, one of the premier institutions for high school football, and Mpemba made it look easy. Seriously, if you don't believe me, go watch his highlight tape, and you're going to be real glad you did. He's a must-see athlete and someone I can't wait to watch live at this game. But it's not only him. You have Jerion Dickey, a really talented prospect, someone who's been turning heads, and a prospect we need to talk about that will also be there is linebacker Damian Samford, one of the fastest rising players in the nation, someone who I'm going to be getting on the channel here shortly, that way you are introduced to him, but it's a name that's sure to be a household name because he is that gifted. So you're talking about a stacked lineup for the class of 2023, but it's not just going to be relegated to the stars in 2023, and in fact, they already have their eyes set on the future. A 2024 signal caller, five-star DJ Lagway, is set to be in attendance, and one thing that I think is really unique about the U.S. Army Bowl and something they bring to the table that's refreshing is we're going to be able to see not only seniors, but juniors, sophomores, and they're going to be mixing it up, which is going to be a huge win, not only for the prospect, not only for the fans, but also the institutions. And let me break that down a little bit. Because we as the fans are going to get an increased familiarity with all the top players in the nation regardless of class, which I think is great. These players, regardless of class, are going to be afforded the opportunity to go up against other top-tier players, and that's only going to make them better. And for the institutions, now they're getting more film on prospects going up against top-tier prospects that they're going to see on the next level, and that's going to only allow more fluidity for these institutions by getting great film. So when you look at the totality of circumstances, this is one of the biggest announcements we've had this year as it pertains to recruiting, because this is a new thing entirely, something that's refreshing as it's not attached to UIL or the NCAA. New ideas are going to be tried out, and we're going to be getting a deeper understanding of the prospect, and that's creating more storylines. And I think that's an incredibly positive thing for college football, but also high school football, as fans get a deeper understanding of the future stars. I can't wait to see how all this plays out, but at the end of the day, who wouldn't want to watch a game in which Malachi Nelson, Nicholas Iamayelieva, Arch Manning, Jaden Rashada, DJ Hicks, Samuel Mpemba, Jerion Dickey, Damian Samford, Keon Keeley, and all of these guys are playing? It's going to be must watch, and I can't wait to see it. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking about this, because I know you have to be just as excited as me. That's it. See ya.